Okay, once again, we're here at Lorenzo's Scientific Holistic Health Store. Okay, this particular video I knew I had to do. We used to do it a lot with our show, Let's Parlay. It's a very popular one, but in this particular segment, since we're doing it along with the herbal detoxes and nutritive formulas, people want to know how to get that sexual vitality back. Where do I start? First off, this is not a degenerate video. This is not a very base one. This is one where we're going to keep it scientific. It's going to be fun and interesting because it is something that people do have a lot of questions about, and any subject that is ruining relationships must be talked about. Any subject that is linked to cancer must be talked about. So it's deeper than just people not being able to keep the ween up, the ping, getting that ping strong again, that lingham, that phallic symbol, that Osiris rising, saluting you in the morning. Also, we do have on the opposite spectrum of that one, everything has its diametrically opposite, and we have a lot of sisters, women of all nationalities, who don't have that libido anymore. They don't want to have sex for some reason or another. They don't understand why they no longer want it. They no longer want to do anything in that realm. And a lot of that has to do with, usually you find that with women with children who, even if they're married, the husband is right there, he's ready to go, and she basically puts all her attention into the children. That's something that psychologically happens a lot, and that's something we'll get into that a little bit too, because it not only is something with her cognition, some type of cognitive problem where she can't associate it with anything that has to do with a part of a marriage. She begins to associate it with something that is out of place and doesn't even need to be there. We already got children, what are we doing that for? It's a way that she's seeing that act where she basically can make herself believe that there is either nasty or is so mundane that it doesn't even need to be in their life. She can see herself going forever without engaging in that. And of course, we know that's a problem because a man is only going to wait that long. And I'm not saying that's just a man thing. If you do it on the other spectrum also with women, with the men with the elephant trunk problem, she too can only wait so long, and she'll try to go to counseling. If he is not willing to make that situation better, she's out of there. She's going to figure out something else. And the little battery powered thing can only do so much, ladies. Don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. It's a start, but you'll never get to the finish line in life with that. You'll win a couple of battles, but the war will be lost. Also, we're going to start off talking about the herbal formulas. For those that don't already know, I make two different formulas. My main formulas that I make now, yes, we do have some formulas for the woman's sexual entity and the male sexual entity. Basically, all of your hormones, all of your sexual organs that deals with, for the men, spermatogenesis, the sperm making process, and basically your ability to even have sex, get a hard on, get an erection. Also, same thing for the women. It's deeper than just your ovaries. It's deeper than just your vagina, your clitoris. Basically, we start getting into a lot of people who have problems down there. We still talk like we're children sometimes. I got a problem down there. Those problems down there, you'll find out they're also linked to breast cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer. Same thing with the man, testicular cancer, your prostate cancer, and things of that nature. And for both of those sexes, the male and female, you'll see in between there, you see the kidneys are usually having problems also, and we'll get a little bit into why that's the case. Now, I want to keep it centered on the sexual part. I'm not going to go too deep into the science of those other organs, because most people don't really give a damn about that. Why is his dick not getting hard? Why is he busting too quick? Now, for those where that is too vulgar, first off, do you know what vulgar means? That's a different video. But yeah, that means the common people. That's what vulgar literally means. It doesn't mean you're against God. It doesn't mean you're against everybody. It means you're disrespectful. That means that you're common people. At a certain point in time, and it's usually the French for us who speak English, 40% of English is mispronounced French anyway, because, you know, you have to go back to Normandy, conquest. But you had people who were so high up. The Germanic words, you know, were the mundane, mundo, worldly, and the people who were the upper class, the aristocracy, spoke a different way. So the more French you put into your words, what did I say? Something about boner and things like that. Erection. Erection is a lot more sophisticated than hard on. Just like perspiration. Perspiration doesn't sound like sweat. Urination. Urination sounds a lot more sophisticated than piss. Defecation. Defecation sounds a lot more sophisticated than shit, right? But we're going to use all of the terminology, the French and the so-called Germanic, other European words. It's all European to me. The herbs. We use herbs for healing, principally because they contain inside of them nutrients that make your body do certain things. There are certain herbs that will raise your body temperature. There are some herbs that will lower your body's temperature. Your body functions as a very, very, very complex spiritual, chemical, and electrical machine. A lot of the impulses may trigger the production of a certain hormone. And then once the situation that hormone was needed has been satisfied, the brain triggers another hormone to turn it off. That's basically how your body works. Sometimes things don't go right because you're not putting inside your body that which will allow your body to work right. So we go to these herbs. So a lot of people, when I tell them about changing their diet around, and your diet is what you eat, I don't like using the word diet that much because it sounds like die. But the way you eat, that is your diet. And then too, there's a stigma. People are trained to think you're a special diet, some type of temporary fix. I'm talking about a lifestyle change where you are eating live foods. Not live cows, biting the cow on the ass while it's still alive. I'm talking about eating live plants while the plants are still alive. You'll be accountable otherwise. And yes, you don't have to just eat humans to be accountable. We use these plants in healing the same way you're taught to use prescription medication. The prescription medication that you use, now this is still talking about sex, but I have to premise it with this. Why are we using these herbs and other herbs that will help your problems? If you can understand popping a pill when you have a headache, it is our job as researchers to link you back to the reality. For some reason you can understand that, but you can't understand eating an apple or taking a nap and drinking water. Sometimes when you have a headache, you're dehydrated, but someone broke the connection. Go pop a pill of some chemical whose ingredients you don't even understand. But if one of us tell you to eat a certain plant or to drink some water, not tap water, which is weird for a lot of people. Oh, why would I get water from the store? If we tell you that there's a disconnect, connect, disconnect, pop a pill. The people who make pharmaceutical medication go out and find the plants that are in here. They go to a lab, try to figure out what part of that plant has that medicinal effect on your body. Try to take everything else apart except for that little bitty chemical. Then at least you still got that plant chemical, even though it doesn't exist in nature isolated like that. But after a while, after they make some money off of you with that, their ultimate goal is to try to make that totally in the lab without even going to those plants anymore. They don't have to deal with those Africans, those Indians, those Asians, wherever they got that plant, those Indians, which people call Asians. Different in India, you know, the dot. Asia, that's called Asia. Even though it's Eastern Ethiopia, Indus Kush. Basically, that's what you're dealing with. And for some reason, you are trained to think that that's better. That isolated part of a plant that becomes now an isolated chemical, which in order for it to even be sold and not disintegrate, because anything that's alive will eventually disintegrate, deteriorate. That's how it's supposed to be, or else you have dead bodies everywhere. They add binders and other chemicals to it, a lot of petrochemicals, so that it can stay stable. That's why you get sick. That's why there's so many side effects, because they basically made something in the lab trying to mimic something that exists in nature. That's the problem. Your body is lacking something. Now, once I tell you to go and eat right, the reason why we still want you to supplement, not just so I can make this money. I want to make this money because I want to keep doing this. I want to keep finding more people. And the more money I make, the more traveling I can do, the more universities I can keep going to study this material. So I can keep helping more people. The less money that I make, the less people I can help. So stop talking about Oprah. I used to be on that bandwagon. Oprah, she's part of Illuminati and all this type of stuff. It really don't matter. Oprah can go buy 100 people's houses who are homeless, and your ass can't, be white or black. No matter how you think about these superstars, they are just one person. That's one thing I had to evolve to. I don't care what Michael Jordan's doing. You know, I think he could be doing more with his money, but you really don't know what he's doing. You don't have a clue. You don't know what Michael Jackson, I know a little bit about what he's done. He's done more than most of them, but even still, we're talking about one person. So I'm not going to sit there and get into conversations anymore about Michael Jackson. Did he touch them children? Why he painted skin like that? He still has touched more lives positively than any of you all or myself have. Same thing with Oprah. No matter what I feel about Oprah, I was like a lot of people. Oprah is one big booby for white people to just lay their heads on to make them feel good. I used to look at her like she was a big mammy, and I'm just being realistic. But after doing a little bit of research on her, a little bit more of my own, she's still one person, and her heart is really good from what I can tell. And she's done more than most people that you can think of. You know what I'm saying? She's touched more lives than most. And a lot of us who sit here and talk, she goes back and forth to our homeland. A lot of people that you think is the biggest sellouts, they end up buying houses in Africa. They end up going to Africa, getting people clean drinking water. They end up going back to Africa, starting schools and helping out women who are getting their clitorises cut off and all those things. So while we sit back and as armchair revolutionaries, we need to stop that stuff. What does that have to do with sex and your dick not working? It really is all connected, because it goes back to, we get you to supplement because the foods that you eat don't have these plants in them. You may not have moringa in your cereal in the morning, even if you do go to hemp seed and stuff like that. When you're eating your fruits, your apples, oranges, and bananas, you may not have any acerola cherries in it, which is one of the highest sources of vitamin C that you can get, way more than any of the oranges that you're going to eat. So it behooves us all to start using the herbs to supplement us eating correctly. The dick, the punani. I said all of that to say we must remember that we are physical, chemical, electrical beings. You will die without salt, but it's not that table salt that you normally see. The sea salts, the electrolytes. It sounds like electricity, doesn't it? It really does conduct electricity. You need electrolytes so that your nerves can fire back and forth and send messages across. Those electrical impulses must work. What's that have to do with the dick, Larry? What's that have to do with the dick? What's that have to do with the dick? When you see a woman walk across the room, you know that years ago you was like that, but now it's just a vague memory of that. Your mind is doing that, your ears and your eyes do that, but Jimmy down there sleep. Why is that? Another type of disconnect. In order for you to have an erection, the brain must send signals down and say, oh, that R complex, that reptilian part of your brain, that mammalian part of your brain, both of them working in tangent with each other. In tandem, tangent, tandem, lo siento. I mean, English is not so very good sometimes. That's the only problem. When you start studying a lot of different languages, you start to neglect. After a while, I didn't want to hear English for a while. I just wanted to hear anything that wasn't English. That's a different subject. Tandem, I think, is the correct word. Working hand in hand. But when people have that feeling, like when they say love at first sight, what's really going on with that reptilian part of your brain, that mammalian part of your brain, that R complex that's working, that kundalini that's shooting up from the base of your spine all the way up to here, your body is getting you ready for sex. Even if you're not going to have sex with every single woman that you see, that's really how the body works. When you're young, you're probably, man, what's wrong with me? I'm getting hard. I just looking. I just can't keep. Women can't understand why men always keep thinking about sex. It's natural. Not to do it to the extent that some do it, but we are programmed to be able to do that for one reason. Our job is to fertilize women. I'm not saying going out there to do it, but we have that capacity. If there ever is an emergency, and in this area that I'm in right now, there might be 1,500 women. If you kill every single man except for me, all the 15,000 women in this area that are of age, baby making age, I can single-handedly impregnate all of them. And I can bring back the whole tribe. One person can do that. A little boy at 13 years old can do that also. That's the only reason why. Now, of course, you're not supposed to go out and practice that. But we have that capability just in case. It's a contingency plan just in case something bad does happen. Now, of course, if that does not happen, you're supposed to make love to your one wife, your one woman 15,000 times instead of 15,000 women one time, one night stands. And you're leaving all these children all around with no father. So I'm not saying that. What does it have to do with the dick? You have to understand how the dick works. You have to understand how you are programmed, how you are hardwired. Yes, you are hardwired to be able to do that. Now, the next step. You see that woman walking by. Esa menaito, esa tigarita, that way that tiger is walking, that movement she has. You're like, you were just writing the paper. You were just reading a book, looking at the newspaper, whatever you were doing, and you just look up. The girls right here, you're like, you know what we do. Let me go off on the side. I'm gonna tell them, I gotta let some secrets out to the women. You walk with your woman, right? Even if you're not, a nice woman walks by. There's something about us men that want to see what that ass looks like. And we know she's about to turn that corner. There's something inside of us that can calculate the amount of steps she's going, and we can turn around right when that ass is about to go. Oh, hey, how you doing, sister? 2, 3, 4. Damn, she got mad. I had to share that. A lot of women don't. A lot of y'all see it, but y'all probably don't know what's going on in the mind of men. Like, that's exactly what we do. But when we do that, when that happens, the bulge starts to grow. A signal goes from the brain to that body part, and it fills with blood. That's what your hard-on is. Yes, ladies, it's called a boner, but there's no bone inside there. So when y'all grabbing it all aggressively and stuff, we like, hey, calm your ass down. It's no bone. We call it a hard-on. We call it rock hard, but it's not a rock, okay? It's an appendage filled with blood. Now, blood vessels, that's the circulatory system. In order for your circulatory system to work adequately, let's go to plumbing. We all can understand plumbing. We know how bad it is when some sucker has filled up the toilet bowl with too much paper. It doesn't flush, does it? If it's so bad, one of your children has thrown some drawers down there, they shitted on themselves or something, they threw their drawers away, whatever. Throw their toys down there, whatever happened, they wanted to see the little boat go down. You have to go get a plumber now. See, some circulatory problems, you might just be able to do a little plunging yourself and get it back working right. If the problem is so deep, that's where there are doctors and stuff that you go and get. You might have to go get a professional to take some joints apart and say, oh, you had a snake or alligator growing down here or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever toys they put down there. You have to get that circulation going again. Why do I tell people to stop eating the cow mucus, men and women? That is the #1 reason that a lot of us as men have prostate cancer, and the women fibroid problems. The body is trying to save itself, and for the women, those fibroids are like these little fibrous tumor sacs where it tries to fill up all the crap that you put into your body, and it just sits there and grows. And you don't do anything about it, of course, until it starts pushing against other organs in your body, and now you feel pain. That's when you go, now you're ready to take care of it. We'll cut it out for you, whatever. That's what's going on. It's your circulatory system that's messed up. Why do you need a circulatory system? What are some of the functions? Well, the way that it's supposed to go. The most of us know about blood is thicker than water. I remember as a child reading that, oh, it's actually 6 times thicker than water. Well, what is it used for? Blood actually is dirty for the most part, but it's supposed to be. Blood is the river that goes through your body. And if you can imagine the ancient waterways, they're not that ancient, but when you used to hear about the London in Europe, like in or Italy, where they were throwing stuff out the window, throwing doo-doo out the window and stuff like that, trash. People had their urine buckets and they were throwing it out into the streets. When you had those tributaries and things going through your town, people were just throwing stuff inside of there. But see, the cool thing with your body can filter that. That's what you have kidneys for, to filter all that junk back out of, to keep the blood clean. And basically, we have all heard of oxygenated blood. Your cells need oxygen. That's why you're supposed to eat live foods, because it's full of oxygen. Plants take in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, and they give us back oxygen. So when you eat them, you also can get oxygen. Now you don't want free radical oxygen. That'll be another video what free radicals are. Oxygen burns when it is sporadic and haywire and not attached to anything like water, hydrogen and 2 oxygen. That's a nice stable thing. Well, actually when it's linked up with a lot of other minerals, that's your water. But when your blood flows, the way it's supposed to work is it is giving to your cells the oxygen that it needs and other nutrients that are in the blood, and then it dumps out carbon dioxide and other trash that it doesn't need, and it just keeps flowing like that. When your stuff is clogged up like that toilet, it is unable to do it. So when you see that booty walk by, or when your wife says, can we do it tonight? You're like, yeah, let's try it. Womp, 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 and it doesn't go down like you wanted it to. Your circulatory system is messed up. I know we're trained to just look at, he's supposed to be talking about the dick. I am. So you're trained to look at one body part. I'm trained to look at the whole body, thus holistic. Holistic health, we understand the whole body. See, the other guys, they will give you different pills, like the Viagra pill. I heard that stuff costs 30 to 50 bucks per pill. Man, that's why they have all the money. They feed off people's ignorance. And they know you want to get that dick right, because you tired of that woman saying, I'm not even dealing with you no more. I'm going to tell all my friends you got limp dick syndrome. And the guys don't want that. Of course, that's their manhood. And I get that. So they will look for anything. But they forget to come to us, the healers. We're going to tell them what to put in their body and what not to put in their body. We're going to show them different plants to help your body cleanse itself. Help you tone up that blood. Stop taking different blood thinners and stuff. Your blood actually is supposed to be sort of thin. 6 times thicker than water, but not so damn thick that where it won't flow, and not so damn thin where it's swishing around like air. That doesn't make any sense. If you're eating what you're supposed to eat, it will regulate itself. It will thin itself accordingly. Your dick is not working because your circulatory system is up. Chingao. Messed up. You messed it up from the crap that you've been eating. Them big guys working out all the time. Yeah, your body looks tight. You see the veins and everything. Something's wrong with the dick. It ain't working right. Because even with all that lifting and stuff, you got a very, very high dead animal diet that you're on. Them nice steroids. You say you're not on steroids and hormones, but you really are. That bovine growth hormone that makes that cow really big, it's going to make you big. That stuff that makes that chicken really big, it's going to make you big too. You know, you didn't probably think about that, but those are the legal drugs. So yeah, you nice swole up, but you're not as strong as guys like myself who are still like oxes, and we eat mainly, because I ate a lot of dead animals too, but I always ate mainly fruits and vegetables. Now I'm all the way back. I don't eat any animals anymore, but I stay strong. Now, of course, whenever I fall off and not get any sleep, that's when my fatigue goes down. I'm up at the lab 1 o'clock in the morning, then I come home. I might go to sleep at 4, and my alarm goes off at 6:07 every single morning, Sunday to Sunday. That's not good. And then I can feel it the next day when I go play basketball. I've been up all day, didn't really get any sleep. I've been studying all day, studying about health. I'm studying different languages, getting my homework done. That's when I feel fatigued, when I do stuff like that. But any woman who's been with me, and I haven't been with a whole lot of women, but I've been with a few, because I really don't do that with everybody. I'd rather have, you know, one woman at a time, or one woman type of guy. Unless you happen to be more than one in that same bed, that's a different subject. But that's my belief. As long as the women are cool with it, I'm flexible. Let's go all take some tests, because I need to see where your body's at. I don't want to be flapping parasites back and forth eating with one woman. So that's how I roll. You know what I'm saying? I'm not married at this point. So do your thing, do it clean is what I say. And the key is, I could be half dead and I can still go ta-da. If a woman wants to do the thing and I can just be getting off work, all I gotta do is lay down and say, go do your thing. I can close my eyes and I just go ta-da. Cause as long as you doing that, sex can go down with a woman. If she's the type who can do the rest on her own and just sit there, I could be like this, knocked out. But this Jimmy's like that, pa-da. I could do that 24 hours a day. That's just me. But I know it has to do with natural herbal remedies. Naturally eating plants, 100% raw plants, be that fruit or vegetable. It has to be that. And I've always been that way. I could do it all night long. Then I heard you women talk and saying, yeah, that don't even sound right. You know what I'm saying? I used to get 5 minutes. I'm like, 5 minutes? Now when 1 or 2 women told me that, I was like, okay, it might be what's going on. But now it's like hundreds. Then as I'm keep doing research, I'm seeing it's thousands. Now I know, okay, we do have a problem out here and we do need videos like this. It's an epidemic of broke dick syndrome. But it's because the men just were never really taught about nutrition. It's deeper than popping a Viagra pill or any other pill. Yes, we do have herbs like strongback, foti, we got honey goat weeds. I mean, it's so many different herbs, and a lot of it's coming from traditional Chinese medicine that they have an affinity for the male sexual organs. And like yohimbe, I love yohimbe, it gets that heart pumping, you know what I'm saying, you'll feel it just, and basically you take it every day. You don't just take it when you need it, you can, but if you're taking them every day, they not only will help you get yourself erect and stay erect, and since it's sending more blood down there, it gets fuller, bigger, and longer naturally without any harmful drugs with serious side effects. You also are strengthening up your prostate, your kidneys, your heart, and your circulatory system, along with your testicles. Same thing for the women. We have formulas for the women also, for women to get that libido back up. It still goes back to your circulatory system. And there are certain herbs that have an affinity, and a lot of women can get the benefits from the male herbs too, but we have formulas that have more of an affinity for your female body also, and it does the same thing. It goes back to your circulatory system. Then you also use herbs like ginkgo biloba that can help you stimulate your mind, help you open up and basically put in more oxygen to your brain. Your brain, I believe, is like 99% water, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of us don't drink enough water, and then you're not getting enough oxygen. And then there's a lot of, we don't want to get too technical, but there's a lot of things that happens when you're, like basically what a stroke is. Heart attack is when your heart is not getting any oxygen, shuts down, starts fibrillating, and then you have not enough oxygen to the brain. That's really what a stroke is. It's simple, people. Your circulatory system is so messed up. How can the blood get the proper oxygen to different body parts if it can't get it to the brain? And there's certain sections of the brain that might shut down. Then when you do get more oxygen to the brain, because you've messed up and damaged and killed off certain brain cells before they can get a chance to replace themselves and replenish the life within them, that oxygen starts becoming free radicals, because now you got this oxygen that's not getting absorbed into the brain, and it starts burning other parts of your brain. Also, there are certain chemicals that the brain produces. I don't want to get too off of this, but I'm just going to touch upon it for a second. There are different chemicals that the brain uses that it makes in order to help the neurons firing with each other, the different brain cells firing with each other, sending signals to each other, that when you do have a stroke, that are stored inside the brain cells, the neurons. What your neurons will do, if it needs some, if there's none there, it will destroy other cells in order to get that material. Ain't that wild? That's where people think they have an autoimmune, a self-destructive disease, something where the body is attacking itself. But really what it is, you didn't give your body a chance to heal itself. You didn't give your body a chance to maintain itself, and the body does whatever it can to save you. And we on the outside feel like, oh, the brain is attacking itself. You know what I'm saying? The heart is attacking itself. The kidneys are attacking itself. Oh, the whole immune system is attacking itself. No, it's not. You didn't give it what it needed, so it's going to find it by any means necessary. You're not getting calcium. You're just drinking cow snot. So it says, okay, the most calcium that's in this body right now is in the bones, and that's what osteoporosis is, holes in the bone. It would take that oxygen, it would take that calcium straight from your bones, and your body does the same thing with calcium, with oxygen, whatever it needs. Iron, a lot of people that are low iron, you're not eating things like plants high in the right iron, not rust in the form of a lot of these different pills, ferrous oxide or whatever they're putting in that. Real iron coming straight from the plants. Your body's like, okay, I'm going to take it from the blood. It's in the blood. We need it. We're going to take it up out of there. You're not drinking enough water. We'll take it up out the blood then. So when blood is supposed to be 6 times thicker than water, yours is like 3 times thicker than water. You know, who knows? Circulatory system. Also, once you get that working, then we can talk about getting on my other formulas. You need these first to cleanse yourself. Nutrition first. Cutting out the milk and cheese, which is all the same, all the cow snot, be it ice cream, be it milk. Oh, I didn't know you said ice cream. All of it. And I get a lot of people, I have to say that because a lot of people say, oh, you didn't say cheese, did you? All of the cow snot, all the milk, all the so-called dairy, the butters, the cheeses, the milks, all of that. Take it out. The alternatives, hemp milk, rice milk, things of that nature. If you find some type of organic fermented soy milk, something like that. But I usually have people to skip over soy because we got people like Monsanto that's making soy, and they in the industry. They're using a lot of their residue and backwash and trash and waste from other petrochemical manufacturing, and they jumped out and said, okay, we got soy for you. They messed up the whole soy industry. So it's so much estrogen in it. You got men with breasts just like they're still eating chicken. You got people that say, oh, I've been a vegetarian for about 20 years, and they about this big because they still eating the soy hot dogs and all that type of stuff. That's one of the problems with the soy these days. Estrogen is just one of the biggest ones that we name. But let's recap, and I'm gonna make this short. Your dick is messed up, and women, your libido is messed up because of your nutrition, mainly. We can get into the psychosomatic reasons later, how your mind is thinking. Right now, I said all of this to remind you and to make it more realistic for you, that is deeper than just, oh, I just need to pop a pill. Your body's not lacking Viagra. That's not why your dick stopped working. You get to a certain age, your body stops producing Viagra. Your body doesn't produce Viagra, doesn't know what Viagra is. It's something that's new. You want to get your body circulatory system cleaned out. You need a full, thorough cleansing. Until we get to that, at least let me get that cow snot up out you. Then I'm gonna help you get off of all the different dead animal flesh. For those who can do it now, 100% vegan then. No animals in anything you eat. Make most of your foods be raw fruits and vegetables. Then you're gonna see it happen quicker than everybody else. Still have to supplement these days, because the things that are inside the plants that you normally would eat, you know, it's just not the same as these. You're not going to be, if you see you might be having a bout with parasites, your food is not going to contain wormwood and stuff like that. The different medicinal plants You're not gonna have cascara sagrada in your oatmeal, you know, whatever you eat, in your apples. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the things that you need that are more powerful than the foods we normally take in to maintain our health, there are certain herbaceuticals that we have that are your medicine that you may need something a little bit more potent. Sometimes you need something to help your body to expel what's already there, to help it just wash it out. Sometimes you need something to stimulate your mind. Sometimes you might need to stay up late and you need something that's a stimulant, something that's instead of coffee, that's going to keep you awake when you're driving, but you want a natural alternative. That's what the other herbs are for. So my daily detox and my nutritive multivitamin, that's exactly what they do. And I guarantee you, your dick will start working right again. Oh, I'm sorry. Your penis will begin to function as it normally did when you were younger. Does that sound a lot better? But yeah, once again, this has been Lorenzo's Holistic Health Store, the scientific holistic health store. Yeah, it's late. I'm having a lot of fun. We take about 10 videos a day. And my dick still work. And I want yours to work too. Holla at me at area code 312-804-1348. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Give me a call. Mainly now though in the United States, because when you're shipping herbs to different countries, it can be a problem, you know. So for right now, anybody in the United States, I'll ship it to you. Give me a call and I'll show you how you can get them, and I'll mail them right to you. Priority, you'll get it in 2 to 3 days, and let's get this thing started for healing. And on the serious note, I want to end this off just saying that you can't save your marriage, you can't save your relationship, you can't save yourself of all the pain and agony of all the women calling you different names by your dick. You know what I'm saying? Your penis, tu panga, tu verga. You know what I'm saying? You want to get that right. Bolo yangu, bolo yangu, mbogo ako. I don't remember. My Swahili is pretty bad. But mbolo, I think that's Nyanja. But that dick, dick almighty. In order for it to be almighty, you got to be alrighty. Get yourself alrighty again with these herbs and with eating right. And it's basically, once again, a lifestyle change. It is a very big part of the relationship. Don't lie to yourself. And if you do have a woman that's willing to work with you and say, baby, we'll work it out, you're a very blessed man. Work it out with her. Share this information with her. And for those women out there, if you really do love your man and this is the man you're going to be with, share this information with him. Don't make him feel stupid. Well, I don't know what's wrong with your dick. I didn't have a problem with the last guy. Don't say silly shit like that, because you're just going to make the situation worse. But come to him with love. Say, baby, I got some information. You know what I'm saying, his brother, you know, we're going to try some stuff. And it's usually your fault, women, anyway. Even though there's no victims, there's no right and wrong. But you are the ones that are helping the situation. You're the ones that's usually cooking that greasy shit that you're giving to these men anyway. You're the ones messing them kidneys up, and you want the dick to work, but you give them all of that good tasting bullshit. That very thick macaroni. I used to love macaroni. And now, you know, I found ways you can make it with alternative cheeses and stuff and still get that same exact taste. And you got Brother Keely out there that can show you how to make these things without cooking it at all. He's got some of the dopest raw food recipes that you ever see. So that's where we at. Sisters, you want it to work right, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Help him. Help himself. And you're usually the ones that will go out and do the research. So don't bump him upside his head, ask him what's wrong with him. He need to get himself right. You might be one of the biggest causes of it, by the different foods that you go out and buy, and you go out and prepare, and you fix for him. You fix this nice romantic dinner for him that's messing his dick up. Then you get back to the room and you mad because he can't perform. You know what I'm saying? We all have to work together. And on that note, I bid you all a muy buenas noches. La la salama. See you next time. Peace.